admissions has changed. If you're using the same strategy for college admissions and financial aid, maybe that you did 5 years ago with your first kid, that's not necessarily going to work now. So there's a couple of trends that I want to make sure that you understand that we've been talking about this year from conference. The first one is a lot of people will focus on the general acceptance rate of the institution, and they will forget that the specific major might bring down that acceptance rate even more. So if we're talking engineering, nursing, business, computer science, those are some of those top tier programs that are sometimes single digit acceptance rates. Art schools can also fall into that same category, where we've got some of that portfolio focus as well for those specific programs. The other one is thinking about testing. So we've been test optional since COVID for a lot of schools, but a lot of institutions are actually bringing that back. They're recognizing that it is the easiest way to see a standardized sample of what a student can do for the sake of English as well as math, and that they actually have solid opportunity to do well at an MIT, at a Harvard, at a Caltech, especially those elite level institutions. They want to make sure that they're on level. So that is something that is starting to swing back. Even the UC schools are talking about, is that going to be a thing that they went test blind, that they're going to be bringing back into the mix. And then when it comes to applying early, I've talked about this in other videos as well, but it's recognizing if you apply early action, you're creating more opportunities for the sake of admissions as well as scholarship, but you're demonstrating interest to the school. If you are a strong applicant, there's no reason why you shouldn't be applying early, but also be aware of like early decision. It is the biggest show of like how much you love that school, but you're also in a binding commitment. So we want to make sure that you understand like what you're getting into, but recognize that a lot of schools are starting to develop rounds of early action and early decision in order to better fill their class. And what's starting to become a real problem, this trend, is looking at safety schools aren't always safe for everybody anymore, or what you would consider a school that I should get into doesn't necessarily wind up being the case, just because of the fact that there are so many students that are choosing to apply to 15, 20, 30 schools at times, which then is just flooding the applications for these schools, and they don't know who's really interested and who's actually likely to come to their institution. That poses a challenge for them. And at the same time, we're in what we call this enrollment cliff. So this fifth one is really all about understanding this is where the pendulum is starting to swing back to you as a consumer for the sake of buying a college education, but recognizing that then that means that the colleges are also under more stress in figuring out like who's gonna come, and there's less of you coming. So it actually winds up being beneficial for you to really hone in on a list of schools that mean something to you, and those are the ones that you're really putting that time and effort into. We don't like to encourage families to apply to 15, 20, or 30 schools just to expand the reach, because we know you're not going to really consider going to all of them in the first place, and the college knows that too. So when you think about all of these things together, building a strategic list that is a good academic, social, and financial fit is always going to set you up for success. We want you to understand and strategize through this process, but we don't want you to try to game the system in a way that's going to hurt you in the end. So let's make sure that you're doing it the right way. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Our Concierge and Concierge Plus programs are also a really great opportunity to get more of that regular support through this process. So thanks so much, and I will see you guys again. Make sure to like and follow for more.